right, guys, back here on Southeastern 14 with Max Barr. We continue our look at SEC basketball transfers. Yep, you're up again, Arkansas. We're back.
We're
get
back.
used to it, right? We still got multiple players we got to get to on Arkansas, but we are going to snag one of the most recent ones took place. That was Adou Thiero making his choice to rejoin forces with John Calipari in Fayetteville. Before we talk about that, let's tell you about our friends at BetOnline, number one source for all your summer sports this season. MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoff stats, plus all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams with the latest odds, lines, including team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head over to the website today or use your mobile device to get on the action. Bet online where the game starts. All right, Max. Adou Thiero, again, if you've watched SEC basketball, you certainly have seen him the past couple years, but you really saw the best of him this past season where he took a bit of a step forward, without question, became a very important part of that Kentucky team, which we know Kentucky had their issues defensively, but this really wasn't the guy that was leading that by any means. This was a guy that they were trying to lean on to really help them there, I think, in terms of what he could do from a defensive standpoint, a rebounding standpoint, and all of that. And you feel like that's exactly what John Calipari is going to ask of him with this particular team. We've already talked about some of the pieces that they have in place. And now a 6'8", Adou Thiero, no longer 6'6", gets to join a pretty big, kind of group there in terms of what they can do with their size. We've mentioned Adou, Big Z as well.
Yeah, fits in nicely. I like the physicality he brings. You can probably slot him in the 4 right now, maybe alternating with Big Z. Probably has the ability to play the 3, maybe if you're going real big and defensive. Who knows? Either way, utility man, you're going to find a way to get Adou Thiero on the court. 6'6", 200 pounds as a freshman, now up at 6'8", 222. Wouldn't be shocked if that keeps rising. So picks Arkansas over UNC, Pitt, few other schools. It was kind of close down the stretch. Didn't really know where he was going. Ends up following Cal. Misses 8 games last year. Okay. Don't worry, though. Wasn't anything crazy. Literally growing pains.
Kind of was. It was crazy, wasn't it? He missed games because he was growing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Wasn't like he broke anything or sprained anything. The man is just still growing so fast. He had back pain, growing pains. So yeah, missed a few games. But just I want to start with this leap here, Blake, freshman to sophomore year. I'll just go through some numbers real quick. Freshman year, not even playing 10 minutes a game, jumps up to 21.4 minutes a game. Almost, starts 19 games. Okay, so massive jump, just minutes usage wise. Goes from 1.9 rebounds a game to 5. Big jump. 0.3 blocks to 1.1. Big jump defensively. But one of the most, and I think this kind of just goes to show how hard Thiero works. You can tell by the body development, but also jumps from just under 70% free throw shooter up to 80. A nice solid 10% increase. You can tell he's been in the gym like a madman. Huge jump freshman to sophomore year. Wouldn't be surprised if we get another one, Blake.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, again, because it's the familiarity too. I think that helps because, like we said, Cal wanted to, and you can just see by the minutes. Really, I mean, once he came back in late January, I mean, you started kind of seeing the minutes evolve from there, right? He's playing 32 minutes, 30 minutes, 33 minutes, 26. Like that, he became someone that really they relied on, and Cal had to have on the floor. Like we said, not for offensive reasons, but really for the defense and what he brought to a team that needed that. And we'll see. I think the way we've already kind of looked at the roster, we think, certainly this Arkansas team should be better defensively than that Kentucky team was last year. But now, especially when you add Thiero to the mix, you have to believe that he's going to play a big role there. But like you said, also all the pieces seemingly in place.
Yeah.
Now where he takes an even bigger jump. And, as we've done here recently, we talk about some of these SEC to SEC transfers. There is something to the fact that you've played in this league. And I know Texas and Oklahoma are joining and such, but still, you've got to be able to adjust to the physicality of the league. And I think he's someone, especially with the growth spurt, like we said, that has clearly adjusted pretty well, or at least did in the the final stretch of his last however many games that he had at Kentucky.
Yeah, I think the newcomers to the league have to adjust to Adou Thiero. I think that's how it. I think that's how it is.
There you go.
It had some huge games last year, and I'm going to give you two different games and kind of how Thiero can contribute in different ways. So mid February, Kentucky goes to Auburn on the road, gets an unusual Auburn home loss there. Trey Mitchell is out, so Thiero plays 33 minutes, 14 points, makes all 6 of his free throws, grabs 8 boards. Huge game. Then fast forward a little bit, early March, they go to Tennessee and they win that one on the road. Only plays 15 minutes, doesn't score a point, but he grabs 6 boards, 2 blocks, and a steal. It's like that's what you're going to get out of Thiero. Might not put up 20 points, but you're going to get your rebounds, your blocks, your steals, your deflections. That's what he's going to do. To put on a little bit of a comparison for what Arkansas had last year, what Thiero was. So Thiero had a block rate of 5.3%. Now, Arkansas, while the defense was not their best defensive year, the one thing that they did pretty well was block shots. So Thiero at 5.3%. Brazil was below that at 4.8. Davenport was below that at 2. Lawson just a little bit higher at 5.8, and then Jalen Graham was up at 7. But hey, if Brazil was playing and Davenport were playing the majority of your minutes at the 4, and that might be where Thiero slots in. Hey, you're getting a bump in rim protection. While it may not seem like it, Thiero can do that.
Yeah, and again, take this for what it's worth. I'm not, don't want anybody to freak out because it's like when I say where this player transferred to, people are like, oh no, this guy, he's going to be, no. Ken Palm does the player comps. We like just having fun with those. And we're like, okay, that makes sense. So one of the player comps is Devin McLaughlin, who just transferred from Boston College to Vanderbilt. And so, again, someone else who, when you look at the stats, it was a guy that certainly helped, more on the offensive end, I think, but good rebounder, guy who could block some shots, kind of contributed in different ways, some steals and such. And so, again, don't take that for everything and say, well, he's going to be exactly the same player, but it is something if you want to go back and kind of look at the type of player that Devin McLaughlin was, who did play many more minutes for that Boston College team, but we like to have fun with those. But the bigger point, as we said, is just the defensive aspect, the rebounding. And I think, it's kind of fun to think about how does he continue to evolve offensively, especially on this team where we've already talked about some of the offensive pieces that are in place, Boogie Flan, John L. Davis, and so forth. What do they look like offensively? How does Thiero play a role there? But I think the bigger point is going to be his responsibility defensively, which will be one of the biggest and most important, roles on this team. I think when you start to look at how this roster is now filling out after we started with basically nothing, right?
Yeah, I think that's like the most important takeaway here is, just think about how everyone always says, oh, you need a glue guy. Oh, most important guy on the team. That's kind of what I feel like Adou can give this team because while you have Adou at 6'11", senior, you have Big Z at 7'2", they're not really like that lower the shoulder bruiser, like real stocky and stout, a little bit thinner body types, different skill set kind of thing. Thiero kind of offers that kind of change of pace that you would like to have. Say you're playing a Texas A&M and you need someone to just smash against Andy Garcia. Well, go throw Adou out there. That's the kind of thing I like, the kind of the versatility you have now in the front court here.
Yep, I think so too, and I think he will be a very, very valuable and important member of this roster. Like we said, no matter who else gets added to it, we know there's some names out there. We'll see how it continues to fill out. But I think another quality addition for John Calipari at Arkansas. And like we said, we're starting to see this roster come together now. And reason for Arkansas fans to be excited, I think,
Yeah.
about the possibility. So there you go. There are thoughts on Adou Thiero joining the Arkansas Razorbacks via Kentucky. So the pipeline, I guess you could say. Just so wild we're still talking about these scenarios that have played out. But here we are, and we're covering all the SEC basketball transfers. If you're an Arkansas fan, haven't checked out the ones we've already done on other players as well,
Check 'em
Adou,
out.
John L. Davis, so forth, go check them all out here on the channel, and check out all of our SEC baseball stuff, which I know Arkansas fans will get excited about, football stuff as well. Check it all out here on the channel. And as always, we appreciate you guys watching. Talk to you again soon. Southeastern 14.